Here we go. Wop babaloo bop ba wop. Oh, I turn that up a little bit. Yeah, I turned it down a little bit. Here we go.
The following information may make you feel smarter, but will not actually increase your IQ.
I got him!
So don't get cocky.
This is about what's going to happen.
Welcome to DeaconLive. DeaconLive.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, can you do the squat kneel challenge? And what are Torons? And a raccoon was arrested for smoking meth. And why does a mirror reverse certain things and others do not? All this and much, much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive for the next 60 minutes or so. We'll get you up to date on social news stories and viral videos you might have missed over the past couple days, or we'll be talking about it here in the upcoming few. I'm going to talk about right now, start off the show, on what's on everyone's mind. If you haven't seen this story, all the way out of Cincinnati, Ohio, a young gentleman by the name of Rodney Hinton, yeah, Hinton, the second. He's the 18-year-old child. And the reason why I bring this up is because his father is the junior, and of course, then the seniors up above him. So what's happened is they got a call, the police department got a call about a robbery suspect in a stolen car. That's the Rodney Hinton the second. That's the 18-year-old. So a police pursuit goes in chase. Kid jumps, crashes the car behind some kind of, store or something like that, where they got big old dumpsters. Jumps out of the car and takes off running through the woods. The place kind of backs up to the woods and stuff. So he jumps out and runs. And you're like, well, why are we talking about this story? Well, the cop, freeze, don't move, stop running. I am the police. I have my pistol drawn. Shoots and kills the kid. Shoots the kid 4 times as he's running, kills him. Now, the body cam footage says or shows that the kid had a gun. Now, the whole entire incident was real quick. If you do it frame by frame by frame, people are saying, well, they blurred out his video or blurred out him on the video showing that, he didn't have a gun. He didn't have a gun. They blurred him out because they fucking killed him right then and there. They shot him within seconds of him getting out of the car. The guy was running with a gun in his hand. In his hand, he was running with a gun. And they said, well, they didn't see the gun. No one saw the gun. They found the gun at the scene. I've seen the photos. They found, basically within earshot, I say earshot, of, arm's reach of where the body landed. The gun was right there next to him. And it's the gun that was reported in the robbery, in the stolen car that was being chased. Okay, so the father goes to the police office, to the precinct. That's what I'm looking for. Goes to the precinct and wants to see the body cam footage. Sees the body cam footage, gets enraged, was very, very upset. He drives to the station, does not drive home. His family members have to come pick him up. He's outraged, A couple hours later, comes back to the police precinct, gets his car, and starts driving home, I guess, for the most part. Sees an officer, Cincinnati officer, directing traffic. There was a graduation or something, and he's, directing traffic and stuff. Floors it. Nails that officer. This officer had nothing to do with anyone else, anything going on, but he represented the law enforcement, the police department that killed his son. So he runs this guy over. Unfortunately, he ends up dead. So his bond hearing was today. So before I dive a little bit more, and you take my word for it, don't forget, for every podcast we have a matching video over on YouTube. You can see the full-length podcast in its true form over on the YouTube channel, so make sure you check that out over there as well. So I'm going to switch over to camera 4 to wait and make sure I got the right thing up here. I don't need that. So here is the news report of actually what happened. So here we go. Switch to camera 4. When we play this in real time, we can all see it. We can all be friends. Here we go.
The man who allegedly rammed his car into a sheriff's deputy, killing him, did so intentionally. The suspect appearing in court today is the father of an 18-year-old killed in an officer-involved shooting on Thursday. The suspect charged with aggravated murder. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero.
Tonight, authorities say the shooting of an 18-year-old.
Now, if you're watching this video, on the right-hand side of this screen, you can see the body cam footage. It's not the best in the world, but you can tell what's going on.
captured on police body cam
There he
is
goes.
connected to the death of an Ohio deputy after that teen's father allegedly hit him with a car a day later. Prosecutors say the attack was calculated and premeditated. Cincinnati PD responding to reports of a stolen Kia at an apartment building Thursday morning.
Because of Cincinnati.
All right, so there you go. So here's his. Well, let's switch back to this camera here. This is his bond hearing, and it's gonna get a little long, a little winded here. I'll try to shorten it up as best I can. They're gonna talk about why they're going to refuse his bond. So here we go.
And then the hearing.
Okay, so here we go. They're arguing why Rodney should not be released prior to trial. And to do so, they called lead investigators to the case to see if they have enough evidence for him to testify and what happened actually that day. So let's see. Here we go.
Okay.
Which is where the Cincinnati Police Department's criminal investigation section is located.
Okay, and is that abbreviated CIS?
It is. He was at CIS to meet with CPD officials to review body-worn camera.
They're talking about the father.
footage, related to an incident that had occurred the day prior. His son had been shot by a Cincinnati police officer.
Approximately what time did he view that video?
Shortly after 9:30 that morning. So he left the parking lot, I believe, shortly after about 10:30. He went to a couple of different locations and then later returned. 12:40 he returned to our lot.
Were you able to speak to the people or some of the people or family members that he was with when he was at CIS?
They said that he was upset, was agitated, and they were concerned enough about his emotional state that they did not want him driving, which is why the first time that he was there, when he left, he actually left with family members, not driving the car that he had driven to that location.
So just to make sure you're following, Rodney left the police station around 10:30 a.m.
All right, I got that. So he left, and then he came back a little bit later, and here we go.
The last time. From there, proceeded up to the Clifton neighborhood.
And where was Deputy Henderson working on this day?
He was engaged in traffic control duties. There were graduations at the
Deputy Henderson is the police officer that the father ran over.
University of Cincinnati that day, and so there was a large volume of traffic in the area, and so he was controlling traffic and assisting pedestrians. He was wearing a sheriff's deputy uniform.
Were you able to retrieve any video from any stationary cameras or mobile cameras?
We had one camera that was a fixed camera. That camera captured them turning from Clifton Avenue onto West Martin Luther King Drive. We also had the opportunity to view camera from a vehicle that was in traffic, and it did capture the incident.
Okay.
From here, the investigation.
So, all right. So let's see. Now his attorney, Rodney Hinton, the father, his attorney was chiming in, give his side of the story. So this is what he opened up with saying.
Prayers to the family of Larry Henderson, the fallen deputy, and I thank the court for having a fair assembly in the courtroom today. With that, I'd like to...
Now, he makes that joke as far as a fair assembly. What he's meaning is that this is a bond hearing, and there are more than 30 police officers in this room, like, intimidating him. Now, I don't know if they do this all the time because it was one of their own. They wanted to make sure that justice was had right then and there. I don't know. So his attorney, Rodney, the dad's attorney, kind of makes this tongue-in-cheek joke, kind of slipped it in there, but stating the obvious, that yes, there are 30-plus police officers in this hearing for bond hearing. It's not even a court hearing. It's a bond hearing. So
Questions, not a lot. Okay? Do you know the mental history of Mr. Hinton?
No, I do not know detailed mental history.
Right. Do you know whether or not he's had any medically documented infirmities or conditions? Do you know that? You don't, do you?
No, I do not.
You also don't know his state of mind at the time of the incident near Burnham Woods and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. You don't know that either, do you? You think he intentionally did this?
And the evidence, yes.
Yeah. Are you familiar with acts of someone that is not in their right mind when they commit a criminal act?
object to it.
You object to that? Okay. You don't know whether or not he was in his right mind at the time that he encountered Deputy Henderson.
So where they're going is let's go back to me now. Where they're going is they're trying to get they're not saying that he didn't do it, because he did do it. It's caught on camera. He was behind the wheel. He was the only one. They say, were there any skid marks in front of the police officer before the impact? They said no. Was there any admission as far as like swerving left or right? No. So they're going to go with a insanity plea, but then they pull up his past records. Now, I hate to say that we shouldn't, judge a man by his past, because everyone can improve in the future. But then they started listing, 2019, domestic violence, 2020, committed whatever, and assault and battery on an individual under the age of whatever. And then and they had like 4 more charges of an aggressive behavior. So already they're showing a pattern that this gentleman right here is not suitable or not suited. He can't control his emotions. So the bond was rejected. He's being held with no bond. They're going to put him back in population or wherever they're holding him until his trial date. Now, this gentleman right here, let's see, what's his name? We'll give him credit for this. This is, username. So this guy right here kind of breaks it down a little bit more as far as, and this is a black gentleman, and he's going to break it down just a little bit more as far as, how and what and why we are seeing this, and the division between, I hate to say races and stuff like that, but the division between us and them. Let's put it that way. Us being the civil people, the people that aren't the police department, and then the police department. Us and them.
Magazine. Who knows what crimes were committed with that gun? In a stolen vehicle, get pulled over by the police. He's running from the police after not obeying no commands that they were giving him. They show a picture of the gun in his right hand. He's running with the gun in his hand when he encounters a cop after he's running through trash cans. Now, the cops claim that he pointed the gun at them. The family claimed that he didn't. The body-worn camera that we were privy to doesn't show the full story. It doesn't look like he pointed the gun. It doesn't clearly look like he pointed the gun on the body-worn camera. But that doesn't really matter, because if he's running like this and the cops see the gun like this, a cop can interpret that as being pointed at him, because the gun like this can easily go like this. The gun like this can go like this.
Yeah, just switch to the left.
Running with a gun in your hand in the first place. What are you planning to do with the gun? It's not on the hip. He's running with it in his hand. He didn't ditch the gun. He didn't leave it behind. He didn't throw it down. The boy is running from the police with the gun in his hand. What is he going to do with the gun? Can't jump a fence with it in your hand. And if he's doing like this in one little glimpse, a cop see the gun,
turn.
The cop can reasonably interpret that he's pointing the gun at him. It happens like this. It don't happen in slow-mo, and you watch it 10, 15 times. It happen like this. The cop is chasing somebody. Watch out, he has a gun, he has a gun, he has a gun. He look, he see the gun, see the kid, see the gun in the hand, boom. And this sorry family, I want to cuss.
You can cuss. I'll let you cuss.
What are they saying? He was a good kid. He was doing this.
They're always a good kid.
Okay, maybe he was. But one of you sorry son of a guns, get up there and tell us why he had a gun in his hand. Get up there and tell me who raised the boy that you show a picture of him being a football player is running around illegally in possession of a stolen gun and an extra magazine in a stolen car.
So there you go. I don't want to say he's right, because, there's a lot more to it. We have to wait for the evidence to be collected and see where it falls. We'd love to hear your opinion on this. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And the way you do that, go over to profitradio.com and you can actually leave a voice message. Comes right through our inbox, and we'll play it on the very next podcast. We broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a beautiful little town called Marshall. Now, you can be anonymous if you want, but you speak right into it, and we'd love to hear your opinion on this whole entire story. So stick around. We got a lot to talk about, lots to get into. Big show, and we're going to kick it off right now. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Profit Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the Deacon Live. Like I said, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your opinions on anything that we do here on the Deacon Live podcast. We've been doing this for over 11 years now. You can go back through all our archives and listen to all the past different shows. And if you want to leave a message and comment on anything that we've done over the last 8 years or so, or 11 years or 7 years or whatever you want to do, however far back the archives go. But we have been doing this for 11 years. Go over to Profit Radio, PROPHET radio.com. At the very top of the page says, be heard. Leave a message for Deacon Live. You can speak right into it. It's real easy. It says record, listen back to it, and then send. You can be anonymous if you want. It does want an email address. It's not an email grab. It's just to want to make sure that you're not a robot. I am not a robot. And your voice can be heard right here on the air, and you can tell us anything that's going on. Now, if you talk about the shows that we, past shows that we've done months or years or weeks or, however long ago, just give me a watermark as far as what show you're talking about, and I'll answer it right here on the air, and I'll play your voice. You can be podcast famous. It's that easy. Now, this guy right here became famous for a bad reason. I say a bad reason for the wrong reason. This gentleman right here, he's 56 years old. His name is Pyra Sharid Patel. No, I'm sorry. What's his name? His name is, Mahendra Patel. And he is 56 years old. And he was shown in Walmart as he was an attempted kidnapping of this woman's child in one of those little motor scooter carts. And so he gets picked up and gets arrested. Now, the video, it's kind of hard to see. You would think with Walmart and all the 15 cameras that they have on anyone at any location at any given time, they could figure this out. But let's dive into the story and why they I say accidentally, who knows? But this is what happened in this story here. Again, I'm going to switch over to camera 4 so you can see this on the YouTube channel in real time as we're talking about here on the show. The lawyer says that it clearly shows that the kidnapping suspect is innocent and he was put in jail. So here we go.
Having a video that shows you didn't do anything, but hearing that your government is still going to keep you in jail?
This security footage shows a woman identified in a police report as 26-year-old Caroline Miller on a mobility scooter with her 2 kids. Miller told police that an Indian man approached her and grabbed her 2-year-old son and pulled him away.
No, what are you doing? What are you doing?
That's her.
And I got him back, and then he just stared at me and then goes, "Oh, I just wanted to get him out of your lap so you could get up and help me." Which was weird. That didn't make it.
Did you hear it in the background? You know what kind of woman this is. If she lets that go, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. Listen in the background. As soon as you hear that sound, you're like going, she's lying. She's lying. So here we go.
"Oh, I just wanted to get him out of your lap so you could get up and help me."
There it is.
Weird. That didn't make any sense.
She's lying.
He just walked off.
That man was eventually identified as 56-year-old Mahendra Mik Patel, a real estate investor, retired engineer, husband, and father of 2. Police arrested him and charged him with kidnapping of a minor, assault, and battery.
How has this happened? How was he even arrested?
Merchant provided NBC News with over 9 hours of surveillance video from various cameras inside that Walmart. In the video, you can see Patel approach Miller. According to the police report, Miller says Patel asked her where the Tylenol was. Merchant says that as Miller stands up to point to where the Tylenol was, her 2-year-old son slips from her lap. Patel says he tried to help stabilize the toddler. The video shows Patel walking off, and he's later seen approaching Miller one more time
again
to show her that he found the Tylenol. She appears to give him a thumbs up. Now, almost 45,000 people have signed a change.org petition calling for justice for Patel.
Okay.
Imagine being
all right, I got it. Thank you very much. Back to me now. So there's another opposite end of the spectrum. So this guy goes up to this woman who's on a wheelchair, a mobile cart, and I would assume, hey, look, this woman's got problems already. Maybe she knows where Tylenol is. And goes up to her and says, hey, look, hello, I've seen the Tylenol. I hate to stereotype, but there you go. And she goes, yeah. And she gets up. She's got her 2 kids on her because I guess her kids don't have feet or they got polio or something. They can't walk around by themselves. And she gets up a little bit and points, like getting up out of, and pointing around the corner. And one of the kids that she has on her laps takes a little, mommy. And he, being a gentleman, father of 2, husband, engineer, real estate, whatever he does, says, hey, oh my God, you almost dropped your little bambino here. Holy cow, back in mommy's lap. And then he comes back around and says, hey, I found the Tylenol. Thank you very much for your help. She gives him the thumbs up like, all right, cool. We did it as a team together. Now, if someone was going to steal my child, I wouldn't be hanging around for one thing. I would, drive, scooter or not, disability or not, take my little scooter right up to the front desk, say, hey, look, keep an eye on that guy. He kind of mishandled my child. I wasn't really, I didn't feel comfortable about it. Just to let you know. All right, noted. Would you like to file a report? Yes, I would like to file some kind of statement just to make sure that, this guy comes in the store, you watch him again. No, she didn't do that. And then he comes back around and says, "Hey, I found the Tylenol. Thank you. Come again." And he walks off. She gives him the thumbs up. She didn't feel threatened by him the second time around. She didn't say, "Oh my God, get away from me." A white woman like that would raise, I would raise, if I had 2 kids, would raise some kind of commotion or something like that. No. Hey, thumbs up. Good job. See ya. Poo. So there's another instance where, Jesus Christ, do we take I hate to say this, but it's going to come out. Are we taking the white man's word for it? Because sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it's wrong. And sometimes it's right. It all depends on the video footage and so on and so forth. I know I'm going to piss off a lot of people, but I'm sorry. The video doesn't lie in both situations. In one situation, the kid had a gun. Second situation, he did not attempt to get that child. Now, with that being said, the video does not lie about this next story because, yes, the raccoon was smoking meth. Yeah, I know. It's one of those shows. So let's dive into this. A pet raccoon with methamphetamine in his mouth, or a meth pipe in his mouth, was caught the eye of an Ohio cops during a traffic stop for a suspended license, leading them to discover a huge drug supply this past Monday. Eagle Eye officers noticed Chewy, the raccoon, sitting in the driver's seat, seemingly making use of a drug paraphernalia after the owner, Victoria Vidal, 55, was detained in the Springfield Township Police Department. So let's see a little bit more on this. The intrigued officers then discovered a bulk amount of methamphetamines, crack cocaine, and 3 used glass pipes in the vehicle. The body cam footage of the well-faced raccoon rooting around this ruinous car, wide open and docile, as it puts the mouth up to its snout. Thankfully, Chewy the raccoon was unharmed, and notifications was made to the proper authorities to determine that Vidal had the proper paperwork and documentation to own a raccoon. While our officers are trained to expect the unexpected, they say, finding the raccoon holding a meth pipe is a first. No raccoons were hurt and injured in this incident. Vidal was charged with an F3 possession of drugs, 3 counts of possession of drug paraphernalia, and was cited for driving with a suspended license. You are allowed to have, with the proper paperwork and stuff, you are allowed to have a raccoon in the state of Ohio, and everything checked out. They didn't say whether Chewy tested positive for drugs, but that's neither here nor there. So let's see. There is a video of them. Let's go back to this. Where's it at? Here it is. Here's the video of them, the body cam footage of them actually watching the raccoon root around the car. So hold on. Pause. It's going to give me an ad. I know it's going to give me an ad. Watch it give me an ad. Switch to camera 4 here, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here on the show over on YouTube. So check that out as well. Yep, there's the ad right there. Sticker Mule, thank you very much for coming by. So here we go. And play. Are we going to play? Play.
Oh.
Here we go.
Hey.
What?
55? There's no way that woman's 55. Oh, my. She's got a hard life behind her. Jesus Christ, she looks like she's 95. So here she goes.
John, come here.
Come here.
The raccoon has her meth pipe.
As what?
Oh my God.
Have what?
Meth pipe. He's playing with the meth pipe.
Oh, it's so cute. Look at him.
No, don't reach for it. That's evidence now.
Oh, I don't want him to have that.
That's why I'm going to do it.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Chewy.
Okay, you're on it. He'll be here in 2 minutes. I'm right across from my house.
God, that car is disgusting.
Yeah,
okay.
This is what she's smoking meth in.
Okay.
The raccoon's playing with her meth pipe.
All right.
Isn't that cute? Look, he thinks he's human.
Oh, there's no way.
There's got another one.
All right.
He's got another one.
There's no way.
There's one. There's 2.
All right. Enough fun and games.
Aw. Poor little fella.
Holy hell.
Huh?
Oh.
All right, get her. Jesus.
Keep an eye. She was trying to take the meth pipe out of the car. Just keep an eye on her real quick.
He's hysterical. He's hysterically laughing. Oh my God, I never knew that was going to happen. Oh, well, there you go. Chewy, the meth smoking raccoon. No charges were filed against Chewy, but who knows what's going to happen later on. All right, when we come back. You ever notice that, I say notice. Oh, you schizophrenics out there, you ever notice that the voices in your head are mean and awful and tell you to do naughty things? Well, it's different for every country if you have schizophrenia. And studies have shown and found out what other people are hearing in other countries. So I'll dive into that when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Well, we will give you something for free, but what you have to do for me, what are we doing? Are we working? Are we working today? Oh, let's start that over. It didn't pick up. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Well, we'll give you something for free, but what you got to do to get it is do something for me. And the way to get that is go to prophetradio.com. At the very top of the page says free swag. A little drop-down menu. You can see all the different stuff that we have for you to give. Just their way of saying thank you. Prophet Radio's way of saying thank you for enjoying all the different podcasts that comes out of this great, great studio of theirs. Pick yourself something out. And if you live in the United States, great. They'll ship it out usually within about 2-3 days. They'll get it out to you. If you live overseas, unfortunately, it's going to take a long time to get there. Maybe we'll fax you something and you can print it out on your own leisure over there in Italy? I think we got a brand new batch of listeners over in Italy and a brand new batch over in Spain as well. So you guys can get something or just cut it out and iron it on or whatever you need to do. Now, I am a right-handed person, and here's a neat little fact for you. You ready for this? You ready for the lies? Are you ready for the lies? I am right-handed. I'm also right-footed, but when I target shoot, I'm left-eyed. Does that make any sense? Like when I sight up my gun, I close my right eye and open my left eye because left eye's on top. I don't know. It's someone pointed that out to me and go, "Oh, you're left-eyed?" And I go, "I guess. I don't know." But there are people out there that are left-handed. And left-handed people, they were like, "Oh, we got the worst in the world. When we write on a chalkboard or we write on a piece of paper, our hand drags across the ink and stuff and smears even on chalkboard." I remember in high school or elementary school, you write on the chalkboard. If you're left-handed, you basically just smear everything. So left-handed people have had to deal with a lot of different things. Now, if you want to, here's the little trick I was going to show you or tell you about. Take your hands right here. If you're watching this here on the YouTube video, take your hands and just clasp them together like you're praying, but together like fingers interlocked. If your left thumb is on top, you were left-handed at one time. You were left-handed, and for whatever reason, sometime in your life, your body decided, nah, left-handed, we're not using that one anymore. We're going to go right-handed. So yeah, if you clasp your hands, and if your left thumb is on top, you were left-handed at one time. Don't believe me? Look it up. I make a lot of shit up anyways. But there are studies that have also proven that left-handed people are more common with certain mental disorders, and major studies have found. Duh. That's what I just said. In Germany, left-handed people appear significantly more often among those with certain mental and neurodevelopment disorders, according to a groundbreaking research that analyzed data from over 200,000 individuals. Well, it's got to be true if it's 200,000. This connection potentially offers a window on how our brains develop and organize themselves. So the study published in the Psychological Bulletin, which I receive every week, revealed that conditions like schizophrenia, autism, and intellectual disability showed notably higher rates for left-handed people compared to the general population. While about 10% of the people worldwide are left-handed, autism cases were about 3.5 times more likely to inhibit non-right-handedness in that control group. Even conditions like dyslexia, stuttering show significant higher for rates of left-handedness people. Languages like handiness is a very one-sided location of the brain. So it stands to reason that development of both and their disorders could be linked. By combining the data from the 10 previous meta-analysts representing 402, see, dyslexia, I got it, I'm crazy, data sets, researchers identified patterns across different diagnoses that had previously remained hidden when studied the disorder of isolation. Mixed handiness, where individuals use different hands for different tasks without a strong preference. Ambidextrous is what I normally call it. They show an even higher rate of clinical populations than handiness or left-handedness itself, with 1.6 times higher odds compared to 1.34 for left-handedness. So study authors identified 3 factors that are consistent, predicting higher rates of unusual handiness, neurodevelopment conditions, disorders with early onset, and conditions affecting language function. Hand preference begins forming remarkably early, even before birth. Researchers show that prenatal thumb sucking at 10 weeks gestations is highly predictive of the hand preference later on in life. Disorders appear early in life show stronger associations with atypical handiness patterns. This observation backs growing evidence that many conditions affect the brain development begin extremely early, with handiness potential serving as a visible sign of atypical neurodevelopment. So what they're saying is, if you're left-handed, because of the way your brain develops or just the way you have to adapt to the world, that you're more likely to have some kind of mental or disorder or something like that. Now, I know on the opposite end of that, quote unquote, hate to use this pun, opposite end of the spectrum, because we were talking about autism, I noticed that a lot of left-handed people, in my opinion, growing up, they always, oh, you're left-handed? Wow, you must be really, really smart. Yeah, because you have autism and you don't have any outside interference and stuff. And a lot of people, Elon Musk, there's a lot of people out there that have on the spectrum autism. I don't know if Elon Musk is left-handed. Is Elon, I can't even say his name. Let's see. Let's find out. Is Elon Musk left-handed? No, he's not left-handed. All right, well then there goes out the door. But still, I found, growing up, that left-handed people are just a little bit different as far as the way they communicate, the way they interact with people, and the way they process situations and problems. So if you're left-handed out there, good for you, but be careful. You might be psycho. Now, if you are psycho and you admit it, you're like, hey, man, I got some problems. I hear voices in my head. No, you don't. Yes, you do. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yes, you do. Shut up. Kill yourself. No, I'm not going to kill myself. Do something. I don't know. They found that schizophrenia, where people hear voices, here in the United States, people hear angry voices, but in India, in Africa, they hear something totally different. In the United States, with people with schizophrenia often hear hostile, threatening voices, while in India and Africa, the voices tend to be kinder, more familiar, and sometimes even more comforting. Hearing voices affects the patients differentially, and each patient differently, and often reflects their unique social and cultural background. These factors can significantly influence how a person responds to treatment. So a study led by the Stanford anthropologist Tanya Luhrmann and compared the voice hearing experiences of 60 adults diagnosed with schizophrenia across 3 countries. These 3 countries were the United States, India, and Ghana, 20 participants from each country. All participants reported hearing voices, but not a single participant from the United States are hearing positive ones. In the United States, a majority of participants described their voices as hostile, commanding, and intrusive. 14 out of the 20 U.S. participants heard voices instructing them to harm themselves or others, and the other 5 described their experience of being a battle or a war. None reported predominantly positive or comforting voices. These voices were also perceived as symptoms of the brain's disease, reflecting that the dominant medical model of schizophrenia in the world, Western medicine. Now, in contrast, 13 Indian participants reported often hearing voices of family members or spouses. offering guidance, advice, and commands related to everyday tasks. These voices were generally thought as good or helpful, even when demanding or scary. Only a minority reported voices commanding them to do harm or to hurt themselves. Now, similarity, in Ghana, 16 participants reported hearing voices of God or other deities, which they are mostly positive and protective. The participants said that even when the negative voices appeared, good voices would outweigh their power. In Indian and Africa communities, people are often prioritize relationships, harmony, spiritual beliefs over individual diagnosis. So what they're saying is, here in the United States, we've got so much negative output. We have so much negative influences in our everyday life. I mean, Christ, the last 4 stories was about, crack smoking, meth, Raccoon, police fights, and all, getting arrested and all this other stuff. It's no wonder. It's no wonder that when we have voices talking to us in our head, we're being subjected by all this outside stimulant. And it's all mostly, for the person that's got schizophrenia, gets negative. Over in India and over in Africa and Ghana, they're more of a family-oriented. They have, I don't want to say stronger values or anything like that, but think about it. You always think about Indian people as being nonviolent people. I say India people, not the people in the Middle East that are fighting each other over whatever, but I'm talking about Indian people. Watch Indiana Jones. Well, that's not a good example because there were some mean people there. But anyway, still, you always think of Indian people being a little bit more enlightened, more inspired, and same thing with the Ghana people. So there you go. If you have schizophrenia here, move over states. Move out of the states and move somewhere else where the voices will be a little bit kinder to you. All right, when we come back, this gentleman right here went to the thrift store, bought some clothes, and got a horrible disease. I'll tell you what it is, and it's gross. So stay around. You'll listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is up and running, and you can unlock your zone over there. You just go over to Facebook, search Deacon Live Podcast, and jump on board. Hold on there, dude. I'll get you. I'll get you here in a minute. I'll get you. Don't worry. It'll be part of the show. Go over to Facebook right now and be part of the community that's over there on Facebook. And I'll post a lot of these stories. That's one of the advantages of being on the Facebook page, Deacon Live Podcast Facebook page. I'll put a bunch of these stories up there. If you don't have time to sit there and watch the whole entire video and stuff, you can get it on your Facebook feed, and it's great fun stuff over there on the Facebook. Have I sold you on it yet? Well, if I haven't, go over there right now and just watching it, you'll see it. Now, this gentleman right here has contracted a disease when he was buying thrift clothes stores, or clothes from a thrift store. Let's put it that way. The tomato before the tomato. Experts say to wash nearly. Let's try that again. Experts say to wash newly bought clothes before wearing them, especially if they're from a secondhand store. Unfortunately, this poor soul learned his lessons the hard way. Hold on, I got a bug on the screen here. According to James Press, TikToker who wants to be referred to by his TikTok name, which is @1nevertwoo_1. I'm not saying that. Your name is James Press for the rest of the story. By his social media, contracted a skin infection, most likely due to never washing his thrift clothes store. He explained in a now viral video that he contracted molluscum contagiosum, a viral skin infection that consists of small raised bumps on the skin. Ugh, get away from James Press. Oh, James. Or Jam Press. Jam Press. Oh, you're gross. He explained in an okay, you already got that. Despite looking painful, apparently the condition is harmless and does not require treatment according to the need to know. Of course, it needs to know when that's just coming off my face. Although a skin disease is often spread through skin-to-skin contact or sexual contact, the TikToker blames his unwashed thrift clothes for his welts. Sure you are. Sure you are. The content creator's assumptions might be accurate because, according to Francis Cozen, a Cornell University senior lecturer in fiber science and apparel design, garments that are often treated with fabric softener and stain-resistant or water-repellent coating or an anti-mildew agent can cause a serious irritation, redness, or itching. His vulnerable video, who has received millions and millions of views and thousands of comments, shows them being sympathetic to him. I hope you get well soon. And others were confused of how he would make this mistake. Don't you wash any clothes first? Now, I'll tell you what. I will. I'm not washing the clothes. If I get a brand new shirt or something like that, I'll wear it right off the rack. Off the rack, I'll wear it. As far as thrift clothes store, I don't buy thrift clothes. I don't buy that. Unless it's like a vintage something cool. But I can count on one finger how many times I've bought something from a thrift store that I actually physically worn. Now, I'm going to switch over to camera 4 because he does have a video and he wants to go famous and he wants to be viral. And here's this video of him. Oh, God. He's an Asian man. And he's got like these, like blisters on his face. So here we go. He's wiping some kind of oil on his face to clear it up. I'm going to say no. Sorry. I'm switching the camera. He looks like he has blisters all over, like around his eyes. And like if he had teardrops and stuff, it would run down. He's got them from somewhere else. He's been doing something somewhere with someone. And he's gotten the funky. He got the funkadubus on his face. Because why is it on his body? Why isn't it anywhere else? Because they say it's from sexual transmitted or skin-to-skin contact. Why is it only on his face? I didn't see it on his arms. I don't know. Maybe I missed it. But anyways, so there you go. Be careful out there. Wash your thrift clothes. Now, this is a term I thought was hilarious. And if you're a tourist, if you go on like vacation and stuff and you're going through all the other places, they call you a tourist. This right here, they call these people Tourons. It's / of being a tourist and a moron at the same time. Now, I've been to Yellowstone National Park. We went there in the, I don't want to say the cold, because there was a lot of humidity. So we went in the spring, early spring, late summer, and there was so much humidity and stuff that everything was like, because of the hot springs and the damp weather, everything was foggy. It was foggy the whole entire time. We had a great time. It was beautiful to see everything. We saw the breath of the dragon that came out of this cave. It was really cool. We saw the painter's pots. We saw, of course, Old Faithful. And when we were there, the steamboat went off, which was really, really cool. We didn't see it, but we saw the steamboat 2 hours before the steamboat went off. And I think that goes off every 16 years or something. We missed it by 2 hours. I'm not sitting around watching water coming out of a mountain. But then they have the pools, the hot springs and stuff. And this pair right here, the Yellowstone tourists, were so dumb, they're going viral twice. It's funny how viral video works. Sometimes the clip that hits the internet starts spreading like wildfire almost immediately. Other times, it has a slow burn where the footage from Other times, it's a slow burn where the footage from a couple years ago all of a sudden goes bouncing around like a beach ball at a concert. All right, thanks for the article there. Who's writing this article? WhiskeyRiff.com. Then you get this video out of Yellowstone National Park from back in 2023, a clip of her father, this girl's father, helping his presumed daughter dip her hand into the hot spring. Illegal, by the way. Initially went viral when it first happened, thanks to a post from an always entertaining Tourons of Yellowstone Instagram page. They are now getting a second life because it was recently posted on X and garnered almost 3 million views in a matter of days. So before we get into the video, I want to point out there's a safety portion of the United States, the Yellowstone National Park website that clearly states, stay on the boardwalks, trails, in thermal areas. Hot springs have injured or killed more people in Yellowstone than any other natural feature. Keep your children close and do not let them run. Notice how the national park addressed children, hoping that that grown-up adults would be smart enough to not dip their hand in the 174 degree thermal ponds or pools. Over 20 people have died after they've entered and accidentally fell into the hot springs in the Yellowstone National Park. There are signs everywhere warning visitors not to get off the boardwalks or approach the hot springs. But did that stop this father and daughter in this footage? No. Even a bystander, a person who was behind the camera, was trying to warn the two people as they jumped over the fence and slowly made their way walking down to the thermal pool. The person who was both doing the warning and videotaping told the Torrons of Yellowstone later on, said, I would have called these people in, but I couldn't find a ranger or service. But there's a guy, and I presume his daughter, at what I thought said Silex Spring, Silex Spring, in Fountain Paint, the Paint Pot Trail. Yeah, I've been on that trail. I told him it was a bad idea. They should get back on the boardwalk. His response was, whatever, man. So I hit record. And the thing unfolded. Once I started recording, the Torrons, part tourist, part moron, made their way down to the hot spring. One of them stayed up a ways from the thermal pool so that the other one could hold their hand as they inched closer and closer to the piping hot water. When the younger woman finally got her fingers of her right hand into the water, well, it wasn't her left hand, so she's not completely insane, she yelled out, it's hot! It's hot, Daddy! Get off my cigarettes! Who could have possibly known that the hot springs were hot? So let's see. Enough talk. Let's find out what's going on in this. Where's the video at? Is it down here? Please tell me it's down at the bottom. Where is the video? Read a little bit more. Here it is, and you can watch it on X if you want, but right now we're going to watch it. We're going to go over to camera 4, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here on the air. So let's make sure I got everything potted up. Here we go. Sticks her hand down in there. Is there any volume? Oh, she's too far away. So the girl looks to be about 15 years old, and the guy, I don't know. This might be boyfriend, girlfriend, because I say she's about the same size as him. He looks young. He looks too young to have have a daughter this big. Does that make any sense? So she's sitting on the bank of the pool here, and the guy's got a hat on. He's got a beard. He looks like a little pudger, a little gamer, white man in his 30s gaming, and he's holding her hand. She sticks her hand in there, and then she jumps up and starts running. And he's a big fat fuck. He looks like a potato with little stick arms. He's one of those. Hey, mama, what's for dinner? Macaroni and cheese. I love macaroni and cheese. So they go walking back up. Well, they kind of walking back up, and they fucking fat asses. So there you go. Oh, man. So they went up there, and that's what happened. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, can you do the kneel squat challenge? If you can, it'll tell you exactly how old you are, and we'll do that when we come back. Maybe I'll do it right here on the air. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget all the musical artists that you hear during the breaks. They are all independent artists, and we like to showcase them and show them how well they are, how good they are, how fantastic they are, and we want to show them some love, and we'd love for you to show them some love as well. And the way you can do that is you can, any of their social medias that you hear and stuff, make sure you give them a click, a like, and if you want to hear every single artist that we've had since 2025 on the program, you can search us on Spotify, search Music Heard on Deacon Live, and you can see their actual Spotify channels and stuff, and check them out and add them to your playlist as well. They're real fun. Everyone's a great artist, always fantastic, always fascinating to hear what people do that aren't signed to like major record deals or labels and stuff like that. It just always amazes me of how talented a lot of these people are. Now, speaking of talent, I don't know if this is a talent in itself, but this man right here says a man has decided not to sit down for 5 days straight, reveals exactly what happened to his body. This YouTuber ate, watched TV, and even went to the bathroom while standing. All right? A man who refused to sit down for just a short week says that the son did some pretty strange things to his body. Lucas Ball, who goes by the name Pygmy or Pygmy on YouTube vowed to take a stand, literally, by refusing to sit down for 5 days. Why? I don't know. It's something to get the clicks and likes. But the social media star, who boasts about 4 million subscribers, outlined his rules, which fortunately allows him to lie down for exactly 8 hours to sleep. Boo! Which meant he had to stand for the remaining 16 hours in a day. All right, first of all, I'm throwing a flag on the field here. First of all, we all do that exact same thing every day. Some people get less than 8 hours sleep. Some people are on their feet. Nurses, people work in hospitals and other professions literally do that every single day, 7 days a week. This guy says, I'm going to do it for 5. All right. He says that there were some minor exceptions, such as squatting over the toilet and having to drive his car, although he didn't let his backside touch the seat. Now, is he talking about his back or his butt? Because I can drive without my back touching the seat. Anyways, so let's continue on. Explaining why he was driven to the sun in his video, which I'll play here in a minute, the 34-year-old said prolonged sitting and lack of physical activity has been correlated to obesity and a cluster of obesity-related conditions. So here's his video. Let's see what he's got going on. Of course, I hit the click and hit the like.
Give customers.
All right, and there's a ad here. So is he trying to prove that standing and sitting lead to obesity? So let's find out what this dipshit's doing.
Canceling sitting for an entire week.
I'm going to switch over to camera 4 here so you can see this in real time as we're talking about this moron. So here we go.
Big sheets of paper like this so that I could write down ideas, creative process, thought right with them. So I bought that. I bought some new pens, and I actually got some more lights.
All right, great. Let's go on. Now he's laying down.
Okay. Every second I spend filming is a second I waste that I could be sleeping. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Day 3. Get up.
Those new lights are bright.
So he's getting dressed.
More sore. I could not wait to lay down for my 8 hours of sleep.
Good morning, guys. So I went to bed early last night, got the full 8 hours of sleep. When I woke up this morning, it was a little rough at first, I'm not gonna lie. I thought, oh no, here it goes. It's just gonna continue to get worse and worse. But I made a vegetable juice, I got into work, having a little bit of coffee. I'm actually starting to feel stabilized. My legs don't feel as tired, heavy, or sore as yesterday. I feel like standing here working, I've been very productive. I feel in a rhythm, I feel good. And I'm hoping that—
Shut up. Shut up. Are you serious? Shut up. So it says sitting for such prolonged amounts of time can result in back pain, spinal dysfunction, joint discongeneration, poor posture, and upper back and neck, shoulder vascular problems with legs. So what actually happened to his body at the end of the week? Am I back on me now? Let's go back to me now. Well, it started out as he purchased a standing desk so he can work from home, which actually helps a little bit more to be proactive. After work, he tried staying moving in the mission to distract himself from the creeping feeling of fatigue and started to twinge a little bit in his feet and legs. To avoid comfortable slips into a seat of his car, he had to walk wherever he could. So far, so good. Day 3 really hit me. Anyways, so he was saying that his posture— is this what he's saying? Look at it. I'm really starting to slouch over position, especially. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because I know people that have been doing it. I try walking on. Now, I as you guys know, my background, I've spent 20 years working at Home Depot on and off for full-time, the part-time, and so on and so forth. Walking on concrete floors for over 9 hours a day. 9 hours a day working on solid concrete floors. Now, I say, that's my story. And my legs and stuff feel tired at the end of the day. I understand that. 16 hours? Like I said, nurses and stuff, man, shut up. You did it for 5 days. 5 days, you little pussy. You fucking pussy. So there you go. He's doing this for, I don't know, trying to prove something, but it's one of those, click and grab type thing. Now, speaking of pain, speaking of being overweight, underweight, older, younger, whatever it is, people are now testing their biological age with one of these painful looking jumps. If you can do this jump, your biological age is under 30, allegedly. Now, the way this works is the kneeling jump squat is currently a trend on social media because people claim that the move can determine your biological age. A woman performed the kneel squat test on TikTok video on April 8th, 2025, captioned, "Apparently, if you can do this, your biological age is under 30. The post has received 6.7 million views for this stupid fucking trend. Social media users across platforms accepted the challenge. Many of them performed the test solo or in groups or in the office or as a family or a couple and whatever and tomato and all this other stuff. The biological feed is full of TikTokers doing the kneel to squat challenge, and others responded via the comments. The conversation around the trend stirred up a question about the relationship between fitness and biological age. So what is the kneel to squat challenge? The challenge is simple. Simply move from a kneeling to a squatting position in one fluid motion. If you're able to jump from your knees to the soles of your feet, you have succeeded. And according to the TikTok trend, it claims that your healthy, fit, and biological age is under 30 years old. So again, we're going to switch to camera 4. Hold on. We're going to switch to camera 4, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here on the show. So here we go. All right, do it again. Here's the guy. He's on his knees. Oh, right to his feet. He did it. All right, let's try it one more time. So she did it. She Asian lady. I don't know why there's some Mexican music for this guy. He's going to try it again. I did it. But they are, younger. They're younger. They're not even 30. The kneel squat movement measures the strength and stability by testing the body's capacity for explosive power and flexibility. It also requires a core and lower body balance, including the hips, knees, and ankles, to all work together. Experts say the kneel to squat is usually easier for people under the age of 30 because they generally have more muscle mass and flexibility. Older people, like myself, have to maintain these physical factors and can also successfully perform the move. But, if they can't, then, of course, you're older in age. So can you do the kneel to squat thing? I'd like to see it. If you want to take a video of it and send it to me, you can email it to me, and we'll add it to next week's video podcast. The way you do that is email me anything at deacon@profitradio.com. That's deacon@profitradio.com. Send your videos over of you doing the kneel squat challenge, and we'll post it on the very next podcast. All right, guys, when we come back, one more little segment. Why can mirrors flip things around and some things they can't? And this guy explains it using a cellophane bag. I'm anxious to see this, so stick around. We'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. We'd love to hear from you, and the way you can be podcast famous, you can join us at any time. Go to profitradio.com. At the very top of the page says, leave a message, be heard. Leave a message for Deacon Live. You can speak right into whatever device you're listening to us on or at. Whatever. If you got a microphone on it, on your smartphone, on your tablet, on your computer, if you got a microphone on it, you can speak right into it. Hit record, listen, and then send. You can be anonymous if you want. It's going to ask for a name. You can be anonymous if you want, but it will ask for an email address just to make sure you're not a robot. And that's basically it. It's not an email grab or anything. It's just a way to reach out to you and to hear from you. You can do that as well and be part of the show. You can be podcast famous. Now, this fish right here has been very famous. It's been caught several times, and the mystery of the fish caught with a wedding ring attached has been solved. So, one of the most bizarre fishing stories to surface, a fisherman reeled in a steelhead with a wedding ring attached to its tail, leaving a group of angler fishermen in a tournament on Lake Michigan scratching their heads. It was crazy, Jim Nigel said, told USA Today. We were starting to wonder who did this and why. Well, it didn't take long for the answer to emerge. In the Chicago Sun-Times, a reporter reported that Captain Jason Rose used a zip tie to attach his wedding band to a steelhead that he caught and released a month and a half earlier across the lake near the Port Whitehall, Michigan. Rose, the captain, had been married nearly a decade when he and his spouse decided to go their separate ways. He says, I'm a fishing guide. She was always against me following my dreams and hated how much I fished. Rose told the Sun-Times. 4 years ago, went by since our divorce, and I felt I needed to get rid of that ring. So I didn't want to just toss it to the bottom or pawn it or do anything like that. So I released it in the best way I knew how. I convinced that the ring was cursed, and my life has been nothing less than great since I've released it. So the steelhead and the ring emerged more than several weeks later when Joe Pinar caught a fish on the Nellingen's boat, the Great Line 2. I guess we got to throw his name in there too. While them and two other fished the Passion tournament by Lake Salmon Unlimited. Okay, we got to get all the plugs in there. So basically, they were in a fishing tournament, and it was caught on this guy's boat. They were fishing for lake trout by the R4, a famous buoy set east of the Chicago north suburbs. And the only person that's going to know that are the people in the north suburbs. The fish made several jumps out of the water when we caught it, so it seemed normal for a steelhead. They said, when we first saw it, we wondered if it was some kind of DNR, Department of Natural Resource tag initially, but then we saw it was a wedding ring, a goddamn wedding ring, a silver band with one diamond in it and the inscription SDH Steel. All right. I didn't know what the steelhead got married. I didn't know fish got married. And I'm killing myself here on this one. Rose was surprised about hearing the news about the fish and the ring. He told the Sun-Times, none of us can believe someone caught the damn fish. It was hardly a surprise to Nugent. However, he learned that this is the guy who caught the fish again. When he learned of the story behind the ring, he said, it was my first guess, a divorce. But funny that the guy says the ring is cursed, Nugent told us. Because the ring is cursed. Ever since it came on my boat, I've had nothing but problems with my Glendinen engine and the switch to raise the helm floor up, and the engine's broke and the hose on my dock burst. Sheesh. Well, I'm going to go ahead and mail this back with no return address. So this guy, let's go back. Am I on me now? So this guy, he was pursuing his life dream. Mr. Captain Rose, and says, my wife, she bitches and complains that, I'm gonna miss her. I think there's a country song there, on the lake shore tonight. And there's got to be more to it. There's got to be more to it, the story. But that's what he's saying, that they got divorced because he was fishing all day long. He's a fishing captain. That's his job. And they divorced, and he zip tied his ring to the tail of a fish. Now, first of all, I would say I'm no expert as far as animal control or anything like that. Isn't that illegal? Isn't that some kind of, hey, it's like zip tying a key to a coyote's tail or something like that. You don't do that. You don't interfere with Mother Nature. Nobody interferes with Mother Nature. He could, cruel and unusual punishment. I don't know what the charges are, but you can't do that to an animal. Zip tie a ring and have it just swim around all day long. So I don't know if they're going to pursue charges. Any other story? Any other story, they would have. So he zip tied his ring to the tail of a fish. And when you see the fish, let me switch over. Let me see if I can find it first. When you see the fish, he looks a little worn. Where's the fish at? Where's the fucking fish? There it is right there. Let's switch over to camera 4. He's bleeding right here. The fish is bleeding where it's zip tied to his tail. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good there, Captain Rose. So maybe charges if they wanted to. Charges will ensue thereafter. Now, last story. There was a TikTok video going around. Let's switch it back to me. There's a TikTok video going around. I didn't dive into it because I thought it was a setup. And where a person was standing in front of a mirror and then put a blanket up in front of the mirror, right? So the person is got their hands on the mirror, big blanket in front of them, and there's a person standing off to the side that can see at an angle the person behind the blanket in the mirror, the way they had it set up. If you're watching me here on the YouTube video, I look like a complete moron, but still. I don't understand how that, and I was not going to dive into it because I was like, I've got enough shit on my brain. I don't need to figure out, make my head explode type deal. But this right here, you ever wonder why texts show up backwards in a mirror? It's confusing to our brains because it doesn't seem like anything else is flipped around like that. But if we turn our heads, it doesn't move the opposite direction in a mirror. Or does it? After all, right-handed is usually your left-handed in the mirror, right? Well, wait, hold on. Is that right? Is that right? Mirrors can be confusing, despite not ever being complicated at the same time. A mirror image is simply a reflection of what's before it. But when it comes to something else looking at us head on, they don't see the text in reverse. So why don't we see other people? Hold on, I got to read that again. So when we see someone else looking at us head on, we don't see the text in reverse. So why don't we see what other people see when we see ourselves in a mirror? Well, that's a weird statement in itself. So why do mirrors see text in reverse? This creator, Human 1011 on YouTube, God, another fucking YouTube guy. You might think this is just the property of mirrors. They flip things around from left to right, but that's not true. Then he picks up a metal arrow and shows that it points the same direction in the mirror as it does in real life. So why does text flip and the arrow does not? So then he holds up a book and shows how the text of the book cover appears backwards and then like his shirt. But when he holds up a Ziploc bag, the word hello with a word hello written on it, the word shows up properly. All right, I'm going to have to see this. It's because he had to flip the book over to see the cover in the mirror. The baggie, he could just hold up and see the letters through the transparent plastic just as we see them in real life. If he flips the baggie over like he did the book, the text would show up backwards in the mirror, just like he does in real life, or like it does in real life. So it's actually not the mirror that's flipping any images from left and right. It's the human. All right, here we go. People actually appreciate the simple, straightforward explanation and demonstration. One of the most insightful demonstrations I've ever seen. It's simple and explains the phenomenon. Well done. So here we go. We're going to figure this out right now. Why do mirrors reverse text? And don't forget, for every podcast we do have matching video over on YouTube. Make sure you check us out and give us a little subscribe over there. We don't do it for any money or anything like that over there. We don't get any monetized. We just want you to enjoy the podcast in a different platform that's a little bit different for you to experience. So here we go. Why does text flips in the mirror?
Why does text show up backwards in a mirror? Like my shirt, for example, says NASA, but in the mirror it kind of looks like it says A to A backwards N. Why? You might think that's just a property of mirrors. They flip things from left to right, but that's not true. Take, for example, this object, an arrow clearly facing from left to right, but it's also facing left to right in the mirror. I mean, no matter how I orient this object, it's going to have the exact same direction in the real world as it does in the mirror world.
Right.
So if mirrors don't flip objects, why does text show up as flipped? Well, there's actually an explanation for this. So let me demonstrate.
Okay.
If I take this book, clearly the title is forwards, but in the mirror, it's backwards. Contrast that with the text I've written on this transparent Ziploc bag. Forward text in the real world, but also forward text in the mirror world.
Whoa.
Why is that? Well, that's because I did something different with the bag than with the book. With the book, you can clearly already see the cover of the book. But in order to see it in the mirror, I have to flip it. Because right now you're looking at the back side. To see the cover, I physically flip the book and thus flip the text. Compare that with the Ziploc bag. Here, you don't have to flip anything because the bag is transparent. And so, if it's forward in the real world, it's also forward in the mirror world. In fact, if I wanted to, I could also flip it in the real world. Now the text is backwards in the real world, but also backwards in the mirror world. So it's actually not the mirror that's flipping anything from left to right. It's the human.
All right, you're going to open up some porthole somewhere. I know it. I know there's a horror movie in there somewhere. I know it. Oh, man. Oh, we got to figure it out. Audio trademark. I got it. It's called mirror flipping. I don't know, mirror on the wall or something like that. But if you watch that and you understood it, by all means, you're probably left brain. You got left-handed. You're smarter than me. And so there you go. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you follow us over on Facebook. Search Deacon Live Podcast over on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Same anagram over there. Anagram, monogram, same letters, whatever. You can also follow us on TikTok. That's TikTok. Be Podcast Famous over on TikTok. You can see all the different shows that come out of the studio. The little 3-minute videos. You know how TikTok works. And you can also email me at any time at deacon@profitradio.com. We'd love to hear from you. You can send me pictures. Please make them decent. I don't want to see pictures of your junk and stuff. But if you... if you've experienced anything, or you just want to send me an email if you have any questions or anything, you can also do that as well. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you got to do. My name is the Deacon, saying good night and good night.
The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Time to have a couple more of these. Mm-hmm. See ya. Bye.